Asia. It was always an independent, peaceful state until the invasion by the People's Liberation Army of China in 1949. But to the outside world, Lhasa, the Tibetan capital, was always a forbidden city. For many Tibetans, material life was hard, but they were not the victims of desire and in simplicity and poverty among our mountains. Perhaps there was more peace of mind than there is in the most of the cities of the world. Tibet has a rich history as a nation. It has maintained unique culture, written and spoken languages, religion and political system for centuries. At times in its long past, Tibet has influenced and been influenced by various foreign powers including Britain and the Mongols as well as China. In 1912, the 13th Dalai Lama, Tibet's political and spiritual leader, issued a proclamation reaffirming Tibet's independence, and the country maintains its own stamps, currency, passports and army. It also signed international treaties and maintained the diplomatic relations with the neighboring countries. However, the Chinese government claims that Tibet was a part of China around 800 years ago, but the fact says something else. It is not supported by the fact. Tibet was not ruled by China prior to the 1950 invasion. It is a fact, but China wishes that it could be whitewashed from the history. Hello everyone, I am Anshika Likhi and welcome back to Shashwat Gyan. Today you will be learning how was Tibet before the invasion of China and how it is now after the invasion of China. Tibet is located to the southwest of China and it is also bordering India, Nepal, Myanmar and Bhutan. Tibet's historical territory would make it the world's 10th largest nation. Today it is under China's occupation and has been divided up, renamed and incorporated into Chinese provinces. When China refers to Tibet, it means only part of historic Tibet, what it names the Tibet Autonomous Region (TAR) of China. In 1950, China invaded Tibet, which was rich in natural resources and has a strategically important border with India. With 40,000 Chinese troops in its country, the Tibetan government was forced to sign the 17-point agreement, which recognized China's rule in return for promises to protect Tibet's political system and Tibetan Buddhism. Far from welcoming Chinese as liberators, Tibetans across the country continued to resist China's armed forces and China responded with widespread brutality. Resistance culminated on the 10th of March 1959 when 3 lakh Tibetans surrounded the Potala Palace to offer Dalai Lama protection. This date is memorized as National Uprising Day by Tibetans and its supporters. According to a document captured by the guerrillas fighting the Chinese army, 87,000 deaths were recorded in Lhasa between March 1959 and September 1960. More than 6,000 monasteries, their belongings, the priceless jewels of Tibetan culture, precious Thenka paintings and other valuable documents were destroyed by the Chinese army.
In Tibet, there are 2 spiritual authorities. One of these is Dalai Lama and second one is Panchen Lama. Both are closely connected and each participates in the process of recognizing each other's reincarnation.
The 14th Dalai Lama was a teenager when his country was invaded and was never able to govern his country independently. He has won the Nobel Peace Prize in his exile and was entirely democratized by the Tibetan government. This map shows the historic Tibet. The Tibet Autonomous Region (TAR) is only part of this and millions of Tibetans live outside it. The TAR has autonomy in name only. In reality, the most senior political secretary position has never been occupied by a Tibetan. The official language is Chinese, due to which many Tibetan children are losing their ability to speak and write in Tibetan. Chinese occupation of Tibet has entirely changed the life and lifestyles of Tibetans for the worse. During its invasion, the Chinese army imprisoned hundreds of Tibetans for their political and religious activities, while monks and nuns were tortured and killed for dreaming of an independent Tibet and for aligning with His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Panchen Lama is the most important figure after Dalai Lama from Tibet. In 1994 May, a 6-year-old boy called Gedhun Chokvia Naima was designated as 11th Panchen Lama, who was recognized by the 14th Dalai Lama. However, 3 days later of choosing the Panchen Lama, that 6-year-old Panchen Lama was kidnapped by the Chinese government. His family was taken into custody. Actually, China wanted to control the Tibetan Buddhism and the reincarnation of both Dalai Lama and Panchen Lama. The Chinese authorities replaced that Panchen Lama with their own 6-year-old boy named Yang Norbu. This Chinese proxy was widely rejected by the Buddhist, Tibetan people, UN and various human rights groups. That 6-year-old boy, Gedun Naima, has not been seen since 1995. The Tibetan exile comments that he is the world's youngest political prisoner. That is, if he is still alive.
Now there is a new dilemma in front of Tibetan people and the 14th Dalai Lama, as the Chinese designated Panchen Lama has the full power in selection of 15th Dalai Lama, because the 14th Dalai Lama is in the age of 81.
Of two power centers in Tibetan Buddhism. One is in exile in India and other is in Tibet. This would seriously affect the Tibetan independence movement and seriously divide the Tibetan people as well.
Today, political prisoners are being routinely attacked and nuns being raped at Chinese prisons. There is no freedom. Even the Dalai Lama's photographs are banned. According to a UN report, the Chinese government has been characterized by the acts of rape, murder, arbitrary imprisonment, cruel, degraded treatment on Tibetans on large scale. The number of Tibetans which have been killed by the Chinese occupation have now reached the millions.
In Tibet today, there is no freedom for speech, religion or press, and arbitrary detainment is continued. The Chinese government has never made a formal apology for their activities in Tibet. Within China itself, massive human rights abuses is continued.
Chinese authorities have responded with measures that tighten already strict controls on freedom of religion, expression, assembly of association of Tibetans. In response to the Chinese government's response, the 14th Dalai Lama says he has lost hope of reaching an agreement with China about the future of Tibet. He suggests that his government in exile could now harden its position towards China. In 2007, the Dalai Lama hints at a break with the centuries-old tradition of selecting his successor, saying the Tibetan people should have a role in the process. He voices support for Tibet's political leadership to be democratically elected. The future course of Tibet-China relation is directly linked to three factors: the status of Dalai Lama and over 150,000 refugees around the world of Tibet, the controversy of 11th Panchen Lama, China's response to the continuing human rights violation in Tibet. As things stand, if there would be a 15th Dalai Lama, he would be very well be chosen by the Chinese government, and this would mean that the Chinese government will have a stranglehold on the Tibetan Buddhism and will play the next Dalai Lama as a puppet. On the other hand, the 14th Dalai Lama has given a hint that he would be the last one, as he wants the process to be democratized. As I told you earlier, he wants that the Tibetan people should choose their next leader. By doing this, the Dalai Lama hopes to limit the role of Beijing-controlled Panchen Lama, but there is a risk in it, as Tibet is under control of the Communist China, and the Communist China is never known for its fair and free elections. Either way, the Tibetan people continue to suffer from human rights abuses every day in Tibet. Meanwhile, the thousands of Tibet living outside their homeland continue to dream for a day when they could return to a Tibet free of strife and conflict, let alone a free Tibet. But Chinese government continues to spread its fake argument on Tibet, showing that how happy Tibet is under the rule of China through official statements and propaganda, online paid commentators, and also through fake social media accounts. But Tibetans won't give up until they get freedom. So friends, this was all about how China invaded Tibet. If you want to know more about India and China border conflict, then do watch my video whose link is given in description.